All right, I think I did it. Did I do it? Did I do it? I think I did it. I think I did it. All right, coming through. I think we're coming through. Let's try this now. I think I did it. Okay, that's old school. Uh, welcome to streaming live from my living room, trying to make Tuesday suck less, and I really feel strongly about that. I will try to make Tuesday suck less. I don't know what's going to happen here tonight. Uh, we're going full blown Halloween. Clay's sister said, "Are you going to decorate for Halloween?" I was like, "Yeah," which I really wasn't, but now we did. So there's that. Caesar's rolling around here like a nutball. I was going to tell scary stories, but I'll tell you what happened to me was a scary story. So I'm going to tell you about the AAA towing story from Friday night, and that's pretty damn scary. And so that's people who travel a lot, who drive places. I'm not saying don't get AAA because even with this horrible experience that we had, I'm going to keep AAA. Mrs. Comic makes sure that we have AAA because she worries about me when I travel. And even if whatever they do to you is sucky service, at least there's some sucky service to be had rather than trying to hitchhike from a cornfield and from Children of the Corn. Uh, this is, we just figured this out tonight. Mrs. Comic figured this out. It's Caesar's first Halloween season in the live streaming now. With all the lights and all this shit going on here, he had a ball. He absolutely loves curtains, and his what chair I'm sitting on, his curtain is right behind my head, so there could be some action here. But he was rolling around down here trying to knock the camera wires out, knock the computer over. Now he's putting holes in a box. So it's his first Halloween down. Now shout out to Sparky, our cockatiel who you miss every day. She loved the setup, and the shelf would be right there where she would mostly hide once I started. So Caesar seems like he really much enjoyed the setup also. And also, if you don't have Halloween decorations, what I realize is that uh, if you just have like some hammers and tools and shit, um, that's a hell of a. I was gonna not if I didn't have lights, I was just gonna get like tools, uh, plumbing tools. Hammers are really good. These are outstanding. Um, Whatever the hell you want to call them, Halloween decorations. So there's that fun going on. So maybe I will tell the horrible story first, or actually I'll tell some other things first, and then we'll morph into the AAA towing nightmare. So there we got. See here. Let's do this. Okay, now this is really a day in the life, a home of the Mrs. Comic and Amish Comic and Caesar. That is Caesar, and sitting on the sofa over his shoulder is a Klee classic. That's Murgus. I love it with all my heart. It's a fantastic piece of artwork. Shout out again to Klee, Klee's sister. When you think Halloween, you got to think Klee. That's simple as. And we've got to figure out to do a birthday on the cemetery. You talk about it every year. But I think you can also get arrested by having parties on cemeteries these days. So there's that guy right there. Now we have this one. Here's more silly stuff. Uh, Back again to shout out to Klee. Klee brought to us the music of Sparks. Um, I've been listening to Sparks. I'm 66 years old now. I've been listening to Sparks since I'm like 17, 18 years old. Mrs. Comic and myself and our grown-up daughter went to see Sparks this past year at Keswick Theater, and our son was there too. And they're really fun. They're both in their 70s, and their music is so much fun. It's really fantastic time, and they have a very excellent command of social media. This picture you're seeing here, they when they tour, they always go out of their way to have their photographer come on stage. And that particular picture, uh, to my left, we're in there somewhere. You can't really see, but we're in there. And so they were celebrating uh, Russell Mail's birthday, and I posted on there. I went to Google. He's 76 years old, I think. I said, "You are 912 months old. Such a cute age." Well, they loved it. Sparks Official retweeted this, hearted this, and that's badass when you get a retweet or include it in a story from, they've got thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. So I'm all full of myself for that piece of stupidity. That was a lot of fun this week. Now we got this here. Let's see. This is Caesar taking an active role in setting up tonight's live stream. He was all over this thing. In fact, I dumbed it down a little bit because last year, uh, Mary never liked the big scary things. Some things were too scary, and Sparky also didn't like the things that were too scary. But I don't know how much scary I want to put in here. I like this look we have right now. Now, this might be a copyright violation, but it's only going to be a few seconds. Caesar, he's still pretty wild. And Mrs. Comic, let me do this for you here. Hang on. That's me, the live stream. So when he's on my lap to get treats and all that stuff, and he doesn't want to go, Mrs. Comic said, make sure you don't make eye contact with him because it's confrontational. And that's true with all cats. If you're trying to tame a cat that's outside, any kind of animal, you really don't want to lock eyes with it because they're saying, it's on, bitch, let's go. So this pillow, Agent Cooper, right here, was on the sofa, right there. Richter's having a ball with this. It was on the sofa over there, and Caesar decided that Agent Dale Cooper, Twin Peaks, was doing a stare down, and he said, I can't have this bullshit Agent Cooper coming in here and invading the sanctity of my new home I just got in here. So you motherfucker, you better watch your step. And then this happened. I missed the creeping up part. I might have to drop this thing next week because he really eyeballed it. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe I might have missed the beginning. He stalked this thing. He kind of hunted it from the floor. No, it's not going to play. All right, so there we go. Went and fucked all that up. Let's see here. Oh, here's more fun stuff. Before I go, see, the reason I'm doing all this other stuff now is because once I tell the other story, the AAA story, I'm going to be mad, and there won't be no turning back now. Our daughter and her partner are trying to eventually find a home for Wobbly Cat Rico, who was basically dead. He didn't have the strength to walk. He didn't even have the strength to fall over. He's adorable. He's hardly wobbly at all anymore. But they're not going to just give it to anybody. You have to pass the rigid screening test to get a cat that's being saved. So we get all kind of cool stuff, and I was given a gift, and there's no way in hell that we were going to fit Caesar in this thing, but this is a sweatshirt with the kangaroo pouch right there. So when I go over to visit Rico, I've stuffed him in there, and there's me looking all sexy and cute. He doesn't really like to sit still too long, but if you have any kind of critter, little dog, little cat, baby, a real teeny small husband, stick him in that pouch. So that's a lot of fun there. Now, also, before, again, I'm going to leave everything out of the way because when I get pissed off, this AAA story is going to piss me off to come hell or high water. So I'm going to start a new segment hopefully, I should have started years ago, but we love horror movies. We love reading horror in October. It's very select stuff, and our daughter screens a lot of stuff for us, and she'll just say, you got to watch this. And we like the old retro horrors, but I'm going to try to do like a recommended horror movie of the week. And this, we're starting with a bang. I cannot sing the praises of this movie high enough. Now, this is Oddity. It's actually a new film. It came out in 2024. It streams on, I think, AMC or one of the TV ones. It's a real fucking scorcher. I haven't seen too many good new movies. Mostly the new horror films are okay at best. They're kind of good. That's a fucking scorcher. For a new movie, a new horror movie to come out now and zoom to way up on the top of my list, do yourself a favor and track down Oddity, and you can tell whoever that Amish Comics daughter gave it 2 thumbs up, and I give it 2 rakes up because that's a silly way to do that. But now we're going to move on to. Let me adjust my bra strap. I think I better take a sip of bourbon before this story gets going here. As far as horrors go, when you travel and your car breaks down, that's horror. It's really horror. If you're lucky, it breaks down in front of your house or someplace where you're not out in the fucking middle of nowhere waiting for an axe murderer to come hack your scalp off. But so we were actually going over Friday night, Mrs. Comic and I, to uh, play with Rico and Hank and run around a little bit. And so a Subaru, which has been so good to us, I drove over a big tree with this car. Really love it. So the radiator light was going on, or the coolant light was going on. I thought that's kind of weird because it's not really the kind of car where it needs coolant. So I thought something was weird there. So I pulled into uh, a convenience store, and they're not really convenient. They have coolant, but it's $185 a jug. But when your car is going to blow up, what are you going to do? So I poured that in, and also, if you're on Patreon, you saw the cartoon version of this. I have a couple of these things set up here for tonight. So I cartooned it, and I'll get to the cartoon significance of the cartooning this disaster. Uh, so the light went off for a teeny tiny little bit. Now we have to travel about a half hour from here to Bethlehem, and we were about 3/4 of the way. We got 10-15 minutes to go yet, and then the light came back. And the goal was to make it to the Cats and then call AAA from there, because if you can break down at a house, that's the way to do it. Now, wrinkle to that story is that our daughter's partner's father, they live a couple blocks away, and almost was almost gonna pull in there just because it would be easier access for AAA to find me. But the Subaru died like right there, and I just kind of coasted in to the driveway, into the driveway, and it's dark over there. It's over Steel City, and you're not in the woods, but you're kind of sort of in the woods. The houses have each their own nice hunks of property, but it's also very dark. You don't have a lot of the street lights that you have here, and so oh well. We got Mrs. Comic. I strolled us up to let Mrs. Comic in to watch the Cats. And I strolled back down, and I got my lawn chair out of the back. By this time, Jim came out. I don't even know what to call these people. That's our daughter's partner's father. Really nice guy. He knows cars and stuff, but it's a tall ask to just pull in on a Friday night and ask somebody working on a Subaru. So he was going to keep me company. He was in there grabbing hoses and all kinds of shit that I didn't know what the fuck anything was. He said, this one's hot and that one's cold. Well, you won't get me to fucking reach in there because I'll hit the hot one and scream and my hand will melt. So I called AAA, and they start you with a very pleasant thank you for calling AAA. Are you in a safe location? It's 7:15, but it's dark, and I'm happy because I have AAA. And if you're going to break down, it should be at either your house or your daughter's house or your daughter's boyfriend's father's house. These are the 3 top choices of places to break down as far as I'm concerned. So I gave them the address. Oh, it was an automated system. That was it. I'm in an automated system, which they make you go through. And it didn't seem like that big of a deal because we have AAA Gold. We have Mrs. Comic has like 2 or 3 um, service calls, and I have 2 or 3. We didn't use any, and we renew in February, so we had like 6 in the bank, right? So it's no big deal. So the automated system, when you have an automated system, if anybody does them at all, they'll go put in your 5-digit code 5549, and then they'll read it back to you and say, is that correct? And then you say yes, it's correct. Or if you fucked up, then you can re-put it in. There was no correction system here. And we got all the way to where I was, and where I said I want to have this towed from here in Bethlehem. Uh, I'm not going to tell you the address because that's make it easy for you to kill people that we care about. Um, so, and then we're going to have it towed to Boyko in Emmaus. Takes a lifetime to build a good relationship with your mechanic. And that's important to the cartoons that I drew. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I told them this in the automated thing. And when they read it back to me, they said, picking you up from the location that we won't say because we don't want anybody to get murdered and towing you to Philadelphia. I'm like, motherfuckers, I don't. Why the fuck would I want to tow from Bethlehem to Philadelphia when I live in Emmaus? It's all in the system. AAA has towed 19 different of our cars to Boyko. There must be a fucking long list of them, for fuck's sake. So I thought this requires a phone call to talk to an actual operator. Now, if you don't know how AAA towing works, I know a little bit about it after having 300,000 cars towed from wherever I was to Boyko in Emmaus. Um, I get a feeling how they do it. It's contracted out. So they will start, they have people on call. And it's Friday night and there's a lot of sports playing. And so what you're up against Friday night is who's ever on call is probably half in the bag drinking beers going, fuck it. There's no way in hell I'm going to Bethlehem after I have 2 beers in me here. I'll have one too. And tow this fucker all the way to Philly. So I called up and I straightened that out, and the guy was right. He said, yeah, it's going to be tough to find someone who wants to put their beer down and tow you to Philly from Bethlehem. So we made that adjustment, right? And then um, I was waiting and waiting, seeing and waiting. I said, okay, we'll just sit and we'll wait again. And I waited, and it's a little bit after 8 o'clock now. And then I got a text message that says, your tow truck will be there around 8:35. That's the message I got, right? So now it's and then uh, our partner's father, Jim, he was there. Well, there's no way in hell they're going to be there at 8:35 because his kid at AAA and he hit a deer down in Quakertown last year and he was there all fucking night, like all fucking night. And he's got the same gold program that I have. So he said, we better get the lawn chairs out and start talking shit here, which would have been a great show. Two pissed off men in the dark in the dark yard on lawn chairs, solving nothing but complaining about everything. So now it's after 9 o'clock, and it's creeping up on about an hour since they were supposed to come. So now I call them. I said, when do you think I should call them back? He said, well, it's been an hour. I would say you should call them back now. So, in between thing, I forgot a whole chapter of this thing already, because from 8:35 to 9:35, something else fucking bad happened. Uh, my cell phone is set up to go to voicemail for unknown callers, which you don't really think about when you're stuck on the side of the road. So I missed a call from AAA, and the message was this. And I called them back in like 5 seconds. I'm like, fuck, I missed it. The message was this. This is AAA calling. We don't know the address you gave us. We don't know what county you're in. How the fuck does anybody know what fucking county they're in when you're driving around and you break down? When you drive around and break down, that's why you have AAA. So they can do the coordinates off your phone. You can give them an address. You can knock on a pappy's door. Who the fuck knows? You fuckers probably don't even know what county you're in right now. Some of us don't even know what county we live in. So I was really fucking pissed off. And Jim was sitting right there. I'm like, well, you won't fucking believe this. They don't know what county. So then I called them back, and I'm cursing at them. And I said, I want to, they don't know what county I'm in. And so they said, well, thanks for calling AAA. Are you in a safe location? Yeah, I'm in a safe location now, but it's dark, and I'm angry, and a bear might come or a skunk. But for now, I'm calling up to clear up this issue about the county. Like, anybody would fucking know what county we'd be in here. And so they said, oh, that service call was canceled. I said, well, I didn't fucking cancel it. They said, well, it was canceled because you didn't accept the phone call. So the phone call comes to voicemail, and if you don't answer it, they just fucking cancel it. How is that a fucking good system? Well, if they didn't answer their phone, that means they don't need a tow job after 2 fucking rings. The motherfucker, so I'm cursing up a storm here, and the 800 number, oh, the text message that came in there, or the voicemail, well, the voicemail that came in, it said they didn't know what county, said to call them back, and the number that they called from was 1111111. So I fucking called up 800. Oh, are you in a safe location? Yeah, I'm in a safe location, but I'm getting more fucking pissed off by the fucking second. So we don't know what fucking county I'm in. That's one thing. And the next thing was you don't know is that the service call was fucking canceled. So this whole thing went on. Now I got them straightened out, and I'm on the phone with them, and they said, "Well, we still don't know what county." And then Jim said it's Northampton County, and I said I'm Northampton County. I said, but quiet, we don't want to tell them because I'm a gold member. They should be able to figure out what fucking county I'm in without actually you saying what county, because anybody else is with AAA, and when they break down, Jim won't be there to say what fucking county they're in. So they should be able to solve this fucking county shit on their own. So now I've got everything set. I got the county, and they're going to put me all back in the system. That took us from 7:45 to 8:30, right? And that's what happened there. And then, so then we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and then around 9 o'clock it said that the driver will be there around 9:35. So now 9:35 turned into 10:15, and that's when Jim said you should probably call them back. So when I called them back at 10:15, all counties straightened out, and they weren't going to tow me to Philly. Everything was fine, and they said, "Oh, we don't have a service call in for you. That was canceled." Now I'm fucking nuts, and I have a person on the phone. I said, "Well, I didn't fucking cancel it." And then they said, "Well, it was canceled." I said, "I don't give a fuck who canceled it. I didn't cancel it. Nobody should have the fucking authority to cancel that except for me, Mr. Gold member out on the road. Who the fuck is authorized for fucking the kind of shit Richard would pull off as a prank? I'm gonna hack the system, and I'll fucking cancel him. He'll sit there and we'll sit and drink bourbon with the bear and the skunks all fucking night." So this went on. Now they calmed me down, and then this went on again. Now we're talking about, it's probably like 10:30, 11:15, and Jim said, "You want to call back now and ask to talk to the supervisor." So when they said, "Hello, AAA, we hope you're in a safe location," I actually got a person on there. I'm not in a safe location. I'm really fucking mad. It's dark, and I'm scared, and we didn't know what fucking county I'm in. Now we figured that out, and we know we're not going to tow me to Philadelphia. And every time I fucking call to find out the status of my tow truck, they say, "Oh, there's no service call in. Somebody canceled it." I want to talk to your fucking supervisor right fucking now. And that took like 3 minutes to get their supervisor. So you know they must have been having a hell of a night over there. So the supervisor lady comes on, and she gives me the whole thing. Am I in a safe location? Yes, I've been in a safe location. 19 fucking phone calls so far. I just want to know when this fucking tow truck is coming. And she said, "Well, sir, we don't like that kind of language." Well, I'm stuck out here for 3.5 hours now in the dark. That's mild. That's polite. If you've seen my show, that's polite cursing. We really ramp this fucker up. So then she goes in the system and she goes, "Oh, there's no service call in. That was canceled." And I went, "Are you fucking kidding me? I did not fucking cancel that call." And she said, real snooty, she goes, "I didn't say you did." Well, what the fuck? So now I'm really fucking mad. I'm losing my fucking mind. And I said, "Listen, all I want to know is a fucking tow truck coming tonight?" Because Jim here said his son was stuck fucking overnight waiting for a tow truck to come that never fucking came. I just want to know I could actually get a ride home. He could take me home, and we could leave this car here and then just fucking tow. Oh, we can't tow it if you're not there. Naturally, apparently you can't even tow it if I am here because nobody fucking shows up. Now I'm really fucking mad. I just want to answer one question. Is a tow truck fucking coming tonight? That's all I want to know. She said, "Sir, if you continue to curse, I'm going to disconnect this call." I said, "Well, it probably doesn't really matter because I'm not having much luck getting a fucking tow truck even with the call connected. And then besides that, I'm a gold member, and I believe out here in the woods for almost 4 hours now. I'm entitled to a few extra fucking phone calls. So, curse words. So now I stopped cursing and everything got calmed down. And then I was quizzing her now. I was quizzing her. I said, I can tell you exactly what's happening. Even though you're the supervisor, the, the, the service call was canceled by not me. And I'm not saying you're accusing me. I'm just saying somebody on your end canceled it because they didn't know what county I was in. So you have a 2 second what county you're in cancel policy. That's a problem right there. And the 3 other times that I called when it got put in the system, the canceled one was right at the top. And that's what these peckerheads, and you can't count that as a curse word, saw, oh, canceled. And they just bailed out. Now I'm telling you, you have to find a way to override people seeing canceled so the tow truck driver knows I'm still here in the dark, in the cold, and the skunks and the bears are coming to get me. That's what you have to do for me. Now, she's still a little pissy with me, and then she's trying to explain to me how the tow truck things work. I said, I don't need an explanation. I just want to know, is a truck coming tonight? Because if I stay out here overnight in this parking lot till 5 o'clock in the morning, then you're going to have a world record of new curse words and disconnecting my phone calls. So she said, I better connect you with a dispatcher. I'm there. Is that a good idea? How the hell do I know? I don't know. Is that a good idea? Connect me with a dispatcher? I don't know. So I figure it's their dispatcher, and I figure my member number, when he answers the phone, they already said there's a lunatic on the phone and he curses and he's over his limit. And here's his number and here's the history of all the shit that we put him through tonight. Chill that bitch out and tell him everything will be okay. But he didn't have a fucking clue. He goes, oh, thanks for calling AAA. Are you at a safe location? I said, I suppose it's safe. It's certainly safe from tow trucks. No tow truck is going to attack me here tonight. Apparently, I'm in a safe zone from tow trucks. And I didn't expect to have to tell you the story because I thought I'd be in the system. But apparently, I have to start from square one. So I am asking permission to reuse curse words that I used previously telling this story because I'm really mad. I am right now, and I'm playing the old man card now. I said, right now, I am a 66-year-old man out in the cold without a jacket. And I don't know how safe of a location is because this is exactly the place where people will kill somebody. So I asked him, I went through the whole gamut, and he said to me, finally, a thing of truth. He said, well, and I say, you're going to ask me a question. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to answer it for me. Honestly, do you have a tow truck coming for me? And he said, not yet. I know not yet, but like, is there one out? And I'm like third or fourth in line. He's there. No. So to recap, there's basically no tow trucks on call for tonight for the gold members. There's none. You have no, but we're gonna keep trying. And I heard this spiel from the lady too, and she wouldn't give me her last name, so I heard this spiel before. I said, but so basically, there's no tow trucks available, and you tell me that one's coming. You tell me that one's coming on a guess, basically. I'm telling you, I don't want to sit here on a guess. I am telling you, I can get home. But they said it's illegal for me to go home and still get towed. Now, the dispatcher said, we can bypass that. I'm there. Thank you. I wish I would have talked to you 3 fucking hours ago because I would have been home now and the cats would have got 2 extra hours of fucking playtime. So, that limited which tow trucks they could send out to me. But that's their fucking problem. That's not mine. He said, well, I have to find, we have access to tow trucks that don't need you to be there. I said, well, this is a new exciting twist in the fucking story that the supervisors should know about and a fucking 3 hours worth of phone calls to other people. So he said he couldn't promise when one was coming, which I was okay with. Because now I had permission to leave the keys there in the car that didn't run, have Jim drive me to Emmaus to get the spare key for our daughter's car that was there at her house, but we didn't have a spare key, so we drove all the way back to Emmaus at 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock at night it was, and she didn't care. I ran in here. It turns out our daughter has that key, but who the hell knows if she was up in New York? So now I run in here. Caesar's all excited to see me. He was pissed off because I ran back out. Now we're driving back, and I'm saying it's possible now that we might pass the tow truck driver towing my car past us, coming back from Emmaus to get a key that wasn't there. And then we're all laughing about this, right? So then we get back there, and the car's still there. Um, so everything's fine. Jim's going to bed. I'm going to walk up to our daughter's house where Mrs. Comic was with two cats. And we had decided the best course of action now was going to be to wait till she got back from seeing a show in New York, which was going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning. And she would give us a key for her car. We would borrow that and drive it back to Emmaus, which is basically what happened. And so now she got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. We got the keys. We say goodbye to the cats and all that fun stuff. And then we were driving back to Emmaus 3:30 in the morning. And then I had a thought where Jim made a joke that since we wouldn't be there when the tow truck guy came, there's still a chance that they would tow your car to Philly. And why would you fucking say stuff to me like that when I'm not stable and I'm out here and I'm not stable? Why would you put that thought in my head? And I didn't think of that until I was safely home. I thought, I'll be a son of a bitch. I'm gonna fucking OCD about this thing all fucking night long. So then I drove to the other end of town, and the car was actually there, and the tow truck guy had called me and said it was there, but for all I know, he could have thought Boyko was in Philly, and he did the key drop and all that shit. Now, my mechanic is awesome, but he's also very popular, and it's usually about maybe a 2 week period to get work done, but I've been with him for a million years, and when I come in there and I have an emergency, show business emergency, they try to squeeze me in. Some weekends he's there, some he's not. Turns out I went in the next day, he wasn't in there this weekend. So now I know I'm a pain in the ass because they don't want to go to work Monday, especially fucking fix people's cars. And it sucks to go back to work Monday, I've heard from people who have jobs. But I always cartoon them. That's what I do. When I drop the car off without an appointment, I cartoon what's going on. And let's see if I can find this thing. I'm sure I put it in here. Here it is. Where is it? I'll be a son of a bitch. There's Spark's birthday. There's that. Caesar Cooper. There's Rico. There's Harv. I didn't fucking put the cartoon in. So now I thought I had the cartoon. The cartoons are actually over on Patreon. So if all cartoons are there, so the Boyko has saved my notes over the years, and I'm going back to the PT Cruiser. I'm going back to sobs that were fucking Frankenstein sobs that caused us all therapy, and it was GE or GM bought Saab, and the year that they bought them, whatever was on the assembly line, they just fucking stamped the new thing on them. But then they changed everything. They went from spark plug system to no spark plugs. So my Saabs, my used Saabs that I had, there was no computer stuff to check if shit was wrong, and that was a whole other fucking nightmare. So I always cartoon him something fun, and it's a panic, and you gotta help me out. I know I'm a dick, but I need my car. I got a show Saturday night, and bibbity bobbity boo. So he saves all these cartoons. I know this was going to be a big favor. It was either going to be a water pump or a thermostat, and I wanted to get this thing taken care of right away because we had our daughter's car, and she needs her car to go to work and all that shit. So I sat here all weekend, and crunk drunking, I cartooned a mini comic book novella. I think it's 14 different cartoons, complete with me trying to fix the car and pouring radiator fluid in, but I have a can of beer, and then I cross out, and I actually didn't put beer in there because he might think I am that dumb. So it's really a phenomenal thing, and he actually looks forward to these cartoons. And I believe the better the cartoon, the more chances are that I'll get moved to the head of the line. I have nothing to base this on except this one I thought was going to need to be a really fucking end all thing, and it absolutely is a phenomenal thing. I'm very proud of it. I took Mrs. Comic said you should take pictures of that to share it with the live stream, but the pictures are actually up on the Patreon. And what you don't see on Patreon is that I put a hole through them all and I tied them together with string. It's like a little book. And I do have, I have to get into Boyko and take pictures of, because he has a book. I have a wall of fame of cartoons at the mechanic. And this one, he's so precious. He said he's not even going to let any of his employees handle it. They'll be able to see it. It will be on display in the Me Mechanic Cartoon Museum, and it's but he has to make room for it. That's how many years have been going there, and so uh, that was it. And then we actually just got the car back today. Turns out it needed a radiator. Fuck me and a bucket of goo. So instead of here all night asking for donations for $400 to pay for a radiator, I'm pissing and moaning about AAA. And then today, the AAA, that little text message came in. Well, how did we do? I, I'm, I'm not even stable or sane enough to trust me to fucking answer that now. I'm just not, because I already tweeted at AAA. I get a lot of shit done on Twitter, tweeting at things that piss me off. I did it when the windshield was broken, and they sent us some. We're sorry about that money, and so I tweeted at them, and I said, what is the point of having a gold membership if there's no tow truck coming? And I actually said that. I said, I'm actually okay with that, but you should actually tell me that we're sorry, Mr. AAA Gold member of 27 years. We do not have a tow truck coming to you tonight. You can find another way home, whatever the fuck you want to do. I could live with that. I wouldn't be happy about it, but that's better than saying one's coming. It's that, so the when I put my membership number in, the Twitter guy thought when he sees this trail of hell and horror that I went through, there's no way in hell he's going to get back to me. And I was right. But apparently what he did was, or she, I don't know, I got an offer, Mrs. Comic and I got an offer in the mail just today that we could have the remainder of our membership from now till February upgraded to Premier at no charge. So we had to mail this thing in, and we read over Mrs. Comic. We read over the Premier thing, and it said VIP Express Towing. That means you go with this new package that if I would have had it, that's why I couldn't get a fucking tow truck, because Gold member is fucking dick. Gold member is fucking fuck you in a bucket of goo because there's Premier. So whoever was going to get the tow truck was Premier, and I'm fuck me in a bucket of goo. So if that's not a horror story, I don't know what the fuck is. Now, on that note, let's see. That took up 40 minutes, minus whatever bullshit I did early on. That was a fucking 40-minute story, and I actually think that I missed a few things.
We got home at like 4:30.
We got home at like 4. Oh, that's a fun thing there. Hang on. So, Caesar is nocturnal. No two ways about that. And especially on a show night, when I get home 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, he's awake, he's up, he's ready, he's got the zoomies. We want to play circus, and I knew it. It's at 4:30 I come in here, and Rick, if you won't believe this shit, it's fucking 4:30 in the morning. I didn't even have a bourbon or a beer the whole fucking night. My night was just starting then, and so was Caesar's. 4:30 in the morning, when I'm all pissed off, I had all this shit behind me, and I still didn't know what was wrong with the car. Caesar was zooming all around here, flying. He might come flying up here. So then I had to play. I say I had to. I wouldn't have had to, but I wanted to because it was fun was a good stress buster. So then, after all that, 4:30 in the morning, I played with the cat here for another hour and a half, which put me to sleep around 6 o'clock in the morning. But now let me tell you about. I should have dropped a picture in here of. We tease that we have a grandson and he's a cat named Hank. So Mrs. Comic has been taking mostly care of Hank while I'm on play with Rico duty. So I don't. I'm a little behind on my Hank time. So by the time we wound up going back to where Mrs. Comic was with Hank and Rico was batting down for the night, I thought I'll just go in there 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just visit Mrs. Comic and Hank. And Hank actually is a cuddle cat. So Hank is cuddling on Mrs. Comic, and he also does that on her daughter Lizzie. But that's pretty much it. And when I came in, he's not used to me coming in and hanging out. When I sat down, he started purring on Mrs. Comic's chest. And I'm not even gonna make a slutty joke there because I would be purring on Mrs. Comic's chest as well, but that wouldn't be right or appropriate to the story. So he actually started purring, and then he came over, and I got a proper greeting from Hank. And I thought he was gonna go on my lap. He doesn't really go on laps, but he goes on Pappy's lap because that's our thing. But he also wanted to play, so he did a tease to the lap, and then he went around the back of one of these things, and he took his head. I call it scrunching a grunker. When you take a cat's head, scrunching the grunker, he actually scrunched my grunker, and he dug his head into the back of my head. So we had also then like a 1 hour circus about 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning with Hank. So amidst all this, as nuts as I am, as pissed off as I was, I played with a cat at 1:30 to 2:30, and then I play with this guy from 4:30 to 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's right now sexing around. Who's down there sexing around? I know I'm going to be wrapping this thing up any minute, but I had to tell him all these stories. So that's pretty much it. Oh, just that motion made him go, what the fuck are you doing? So I'm going to calm myself down here. Next week, I hope to have some proper Halloween stories. Hopefully, there won't be any more scares like this. But it reminded me of all my AAA horror stories and all my AAA humor. In fact, I used to do a joke about the gold membership has 100 miles of towing free in one direction. And so, with years gone by, we ran up to New York to see a lot of shows. We could see shows cheap and parked at the Port Authority. From the Port Authority parking lot to our front door is 97 miles. And the Boyko garage is actually just another mile down the road. So I'm within that. And the running joke would be that some nights after we see a show in New York, I'm too tired to drive home, or if I want to have a cocktail like everybody else, I didn't feel like driving home. I just yank off the spark plug, call AAA, and say, "Don't try to fix it. My mechanic is really pissy about who's sniffing around my engine. Just tow me home, and then we'll deal with that tomorrow." Which I never did, but it's a funny bit, really. And it came back to haunt me. So then we had another one up there, and this was going back to when I had an actual GPS in the car. So, fun thing with GPS is if you drive through the Lincoln Tunnel or the Holland Tunnel, it loses its signal. Then it goes fucking apeshit, and then it regroups when you get on the other side of the tunnel. But when you go up into the air, you ever see those the Port Authority, the bus ramps, and the car ramps? Once you leave the Earth, the GPS loses its fucking mind. It says, "You are fucking flying. You should not be up in the air. This is very dangerous." All kind of fucking shit's flying all around here. So it loses the ability to tag where you are. And that's a feature I miss on my phone in the Waze app, because you could go somewhere and you could just tag it and save the location and it will always be in there. This we couldn't do. So now after the show, we had a flat tire and there was no spare, or the spare needed to be patched. So I called AAA to come to the Port Authority, and they said, "What's the address?" Again, this was like, "What county?" I said, "I don't know. It's the fucking Port Authority in New York. It's fucking Grand Central Station here, for fuck's sake. It's 42nd Street on Broadway. It's the Port Authority." "Well, we have to know what the address is." "Okay, fuck me in a bucket of goo." So they're really big. and the fifth floor is what we park on. That's for cars, and where the elevators are is about a football field and a half away from where you come in, which is where I had to walk all the way fucking back and ask the attendant what the fucking address was. If you have to go on Sunday night at 12:30 at night and walk up to an attendant at the Port Authority and ask him what the address is, you will not be received very well. And also, he didn't know what the fucking address was, so he had to go in his office and we had to find out what an actual fucking address was. And then I called up them and they hooked me up with a driver also. And he knew exactly where I was, and he said, "We're right around the corner down here on Earth." So they weren't even going to tow us. He drove up fucking the AAA tow truck people. Once you get to them, are all really kind of fucking amazing. Once everybody knows what county they have to go to, so he actually took the tire and he drove in his truck and he repaired the tire, put it back on, and we made it fucking home. And that's why I say I actually like having AAA, but just still not right today. So we are now proud premier members. So I think being without it would be tempting fate. So that's really all my excitement for the week. I hope everybody's doing good. I don't have a big grand finale or anything. It's been very hectic to say the least. So let's see. My bra strap's falling down here again. Let's see what's going on here. There's 4:30 Twin Peaks. Ha ha! 4:30 a.m. and Twin Peaks. I hope Richter. I can't put Twin Peaks on at 4:30 in the morning because it would keep me awake. I'm not someone who would put on Twin Peaks and then like fall asleep to it. So no, I didn't put on Twin Peaks, but the cat's doing all this cute shit. I wish I had a cat cam for you now. Although it could result in knocking the MacBook off this thing. So that's really all my excitement. I wish I had something more to tell you that wasn't such a big fucking complaint. But Mrs. Comic says hello. Caesar says hello. All the AAA representatives hope you are in a safe location. And when you travel, for fuck's sake, try to know exactly what county you're in because it could be valuable information. We're hoping to get back on the air streaming next week, Tuesdays, get that rhythm back. And I gotta see. I'm gonna do this. You won't get to see this now, but I'm gonna film this. Cats doing fun shit. Where do you get live entertainment like this? It's me filming a cat that you can't see. Now, as soon as I do it, he's gonna stop. So there's that. All right, that's pretty good. I don't have the slightest idea. That short. Now he stopped it, little fucker. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you got some money, send it to us. Make sure you don't send it to the wrong county. And
we love having AAA.
we do. We love that. Having been said, we love having AAA. It saved us more times than not. I believe all they needed to do was a little honesty there. There's a flaw in the system. Everybody's cutting back, and I could have lived with. We don't have a driver that can get out there tonight. I could live with that, but they're not going to say that. I got to film this cat. I mean, where do you get live entertainment like this? You tune in for me to entertain you, and I become distracted, and I'm filming this cat rolling around. As covered before, Caesar's really big, and the thing he likes to do is roll when he plays. He really doesn't give a shit what he hits, because he's big. He figures whatever he hits, it's going to be their problem. So that's it. Check out the movie Oddity. I'll have some book suggestions for you next week, and hopefully a proper Halloween scare story or two. That's a wrap. Don't be a dick to each other. And as I've been hooting and hollering in my show, if you are mad in the week more than you are happy, you're doing something wrong. Because with all the fucking nutcase shit that I had going on this past weekend, we're still having fun. Mrs. Comic's still smiling. She's still talking to me. Cat wants to play with me. Focus on happy, fun shit. It's out there. Don't spin in the mud about all this fucking bullshit we have to deal with. And again, I can't stress enough, be aware of what county you're in. Talk to you folks next week. We love you. Mwah. All right, let me do this. Leave you with this. Leave you with that. Halloween. Well, I'll leave you with this. I promise I'll leave you with something. Oh, I'll leave you with that. There we go. Caesar from the SmackDown. I put some pictures up because you missed the pre-hunt here. But that's a wrap. We love you. Be safe and have a